I'm Kelsey Schmidt, KPI strategist and dashboard creator at Innowick, where our goal is to help you become a metrics pro. And I am excited for this video, the continuation of the last video. If you did not see the last video, I encourage you to go back and check it out, especially if you want to understand some foundational things about creating your own dashboard, because today we're going to take that up a notch and I'm going to show you some formatting and customizations that you can do to take a summary or presentation or dashboard view from blah to amazing. So stay tuned and let's dig right into it. So as a quick recap, in the last video, we took some raw data from a profit and loss statement and we copied and pasted it over, which is sort of a way of manually, for lack of a better word, data staging that data to get it ready and prepped in the format that it needs to be to put it in a visual graph. And we did talk about in the last video too, that there are things like Skyvia or Google Analytics that serve as data repositories that you can use for data staging, like especially if you wanted to do a more automated dashboard in something like Google Data Studio. But this is the process that is a very good way to get your feet wet and just you can actually do this whole process in Google Sheets. And so that's why I'm showing it here in Google Sheets today. So we did the data staging, and then finally we created these graphs and visuals for the dashboard summary and got it to this point. And so what I want to focus on today is actually formatting these graphs and taking them up a notch and just making them look really good for a professional board level presentation that you would be doing with your client. So I'm moving this supplemental pie chart down and out of the way. Actually, I'm going to move it further out of the way just so that we can visually focus on what we have going on here. And I'll even make it larger so that you can see it. Obviously, there's some things that we can do to make this prettier. We don't have dollars really showing. We don't completely know what is going on at this point. And for the recap, what we're trying to show is the sales over time. So that's why we have the dates and then the different categories of sales as depicted in a nice visual. So for this type of visual, I really love the stacked column chart. And that is what we created. And this is where we left off with in the last video. So the first thing I want to do is just appropriately name and format the title of this visual. So, and actually before I go there, anytime you inherit a graph in Google Sheets, like the quickest way is to double click and it pulls up this chart editor. Also, over time, I have learned what all these different sections are and what they do. But when in doubt, you can actually just click on the section that you want to work with. It's very intuitive in that way. So for example, I clicked on this left side. I may not know that that's a vertical axis, but I can click on it and it takes me right there. And then I can start to work with that. So that's a wonderful trick that I like to use. So back to the title, I'm going to click it. And again, it's going to take me to the chart title. So you can edit it either here or directly on the graph itself. So I want to call this sales by offer because whether it's a product-based sale or a service-based sale, offer kind of encapsulates each of those nicely. It likes to default to auto, which I would like the font size to be bigger than that. So I'm going to make it, actually that was smaller. Sometimes you got to click around and see what you like. I like 24 and I'm going to bold it. And the text color is a default of like a gray, and I just want to make it bolder and stand out with the black. And then you can center it as well. You know, italicize, all those different things are available to you there. If I wanted to make the legend a little bit bigger, again, I could work with those sizes and make it a little bit bigger. I like the 14 for that purpose. And then another thing you can do, so we've got some good titling. Now I want to go to the bars themselves. And when you click inside, so right now I'm highlighted on this green, on these green bars all the way across. You can do data labels, and actually it defaults to the top, but I like to put them in the center. So we're going to do that for all of these. And I'm just repeating that. And the good news is once you do this one time, you won't have to do this again because you'll have it completely set up. Now you'll notice that we have these additional decimal places, and it's like, oh, that's a lot to look at. So what I would like to show you is it actually pulls these decimals from the source data. So a really quick way to fix that is highlighting all this source data and decreasing those decimal places. And you can see that it fixed it right here. Then, yeah, so that's looking a lot cleaner. Another thing that you can do, just double clicking to get back in, is at first to make sure that all the data pulled in and added down appropriately. So like for December, for example, I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. For December, we've got 8568, 5700, and 7560. But there's also this 0 that came from the original source data. I like to bring it all in at first to make sure that we got everything we needed data-wise. But then after that, you can actually click on each of these individual data points that are zeros and just delete all those and clean them up. So then you don't have in here what you don't need. And again, it makes it much more cleaner. What I also like to do is I like to put the dollar formatting on the axis, and I like to put the dollar on the totals. So I'm leaving the numbers within the bars as just a normal number format, but I'm going to put dollars on this vertical axis. So when you click on it, you can go down to this number format, and I'm going to do a rounded currency. It's just nice to show, especially with online business, sometimes things could be in US dollars or Canadian, and this really shows where it's sourced from, the dollars. And then I'm going to bold both the vertical and horizontal axes. All right, so we've done some pretty good formatting things to this graph. There's just one little trick I want to show you as it relates to updating the colors in the visual. So this is a sales by offer. So I'm going to end up with all greens here in a bit, but before I go there, I wanted to show you that you can actually put you or your client's brand colors into a graph just to give it that extra personalization. And I really love doing this for clients. So when you are coming in, and it doesn't have to be a graph. You can also do that even just within the cells of Google Sheets. So you can really use it to jazz up your spreadsheets as well. So you just click on it and it highlights all the bars of that color. And then you can go down to custom and go grab your hex code from Canva and paste it into there. So I've got my Innoic brand kit, and let's say I wanted to use this blue color. I can copy this hex code and paste it into here. And you can see that it changed it to my specific Innoic blue. And you can go on down the line with the other colors from your brand kit. So that's really fun to do. For this though, I'm going to make them all blues and greens. Actually, we'll just do blues since we already have a blue. And these aren't perfection. I was just kind of showing you my thoughts there. You can, on your own time, feel free to study for yourself some of the psychology of color. But I tend to, like, especially in the financial realm, I like to use greens or blues to signify positive or calm things increasing or improving. And then I tend to use reds, oranges, and yellows for things that I really want to call out, especially red for expenses or things moving downward. And so that's just something that I think of when creating financial dashboards. And so we have our main graph. And then what I would do then is just take your supplemental graph and do some formatting with that as well. So we want to make these match and be complementary. So I'm just going to say December sales, December details, because it's going to show some percentages in addition to the dollars. So instead of putting the names here, I want to add, oh, actually I need to do some similar formatting for this title as well. So right now we just have a circle, but no legend. And personally, I like these legends. So I'm going to go ahead and add the legend as well. Let's put it on the right and see how that looks. Yeah, I think that's pretty nice. And you can click around and move it. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so I want to put some labels in here now that we've got the legend. And so for the labels, it's going to be under customize and then pie chart. It's this slice label. It took me a minute to find that because I was like, what is that called? Well, it's called slice label. So we're going to do value and percentage because I want to show a little bit more detail as to how these add up. And then color scheme wise, I want to do similar colors. I actually want the colors to match exact to what the bars have. And I did not remember exactly which light shade of blue I used, so I'm sort of guessing and matching. Oh, these labels need to be synonymous as well. This is a great start, and I would be thrilled to walk into a presentation with this type of information. So the only thing that I would maybe add to this is a total, but that is possibly for another video because it involves like pulling a little bit more information in. I think this is great. You can see how how the various sales stack up against each other. And then you can take a peek into December and understand how that actually breaks out within 100%. The other thing that you could do is, I'll show you real quick, you could insert these drawings as well. And so we could create an arrow. And this is not going to be a fancy arrow by any stretch. I'm just going to accept the color that they give me. Oh, you can actually turn the arrow too, but I think that has to be done in this draw piece. Anyways, that looks a little crazy right now, but essentially you would be saying, hey, this is the total bar, but this is the same information shown in a different way, just to give you a different glimpse and look into that data. But yeah, to actually turn this arrow, it's a little bit cumbersome. You got to position it in the actual editing of the drawing itself. So this is where Google Sheets takes a little bit more massaging than something like the Google Data Studio, but it is definitely doable. Once you get this set up, you can keep refreshing your information here. You know, you'll refresh your QuickBooks, you will copy and paste new data over into the data staging. I mean, you already have it formatted and set up here. We actually don't need that guy anymore. And then it will update your summary. So just to show you as an example, let's say I wanted to come in here and say December was $5,000 for all three categories. You can see that it updated it right there. And so I'll go ahead and hit undo. But I just wanted to show you that for example purposes, definitely don't overlook Google Sheets. I have been enjoying it very much. I grew up in Excel and I have been very pleasantly surprised at all the different visuals I've been able to do in Google Sheets. So I hope that you found this video helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for future dashboard related content.